up-close video. So this is another Polkadoodles release. I think it's going to be called Spring Blooms, but it could possibly be called Blushing Blooms because that's the name of the paper pad that's coming out with these stamp sets. But obviously the name will be the name of the video. And I don't know all of the actual names for the stamp sets, which is really annoying when I try and film one of these videos. But they will be the proper names down below the video, and I'll try and put them on the screen when I'm talking about them as well, if I remember. It's just so you know exactly which stamp set is which one. But I'm just going to be making up my own names to refer to them like I did in a previous one of these. But so hopefully it won't get too confusing. But there are 4 new stamp sets and a new 6x6 paper pad as well. And the stamps are really different. Well, 2 of them are really different. So we've also got another set of these gorgeous words. So we've had 2 so far, I think there's only been 2. And then this is the newest one, which is kind of more themed towards mums, grands, aunties, you know, because it's kind of Mother's Day coming up. And, well, it is in the UK. It's March in the UK. And then we've also got this other stamp set, which is also to do with sort of Mother's Day and stuff. I'll show you them up close in a second. And then the 2 main stamp sets in this release are really big. They're like, I think they're 6x8, because I think these are 4x6. And they've got layered stamps in them, which is really unusual. I don't think Polkadoodles have done layered stamps before, not that I've seen anyway. But you've got like 2 different types of layered flowers in here, and you've also got layered leaves and different little branches and stuff. I didn't actually use much of the layering for my samples, just because I was in a colouring mood, so I wanted to colour the flowers. But it's really simple to line these up, and the actual packaging of these will have little markers to show you exactly how to line them up as well. We get prototypes of the stamps, but the actual packaging should have little markers so that you know exactly which way round the stamps line up and everything. Because you've even got like tiny little solid stamps to fill in like these tiny little ones as well. I will show you them in more detail again in a second, but I thought I'd just go through the paper pad first. So the paper pad is called Blushing Blooms, and it's their gorgeous high quality paper that all the other ones I've shown you have been. 160 GSM, which is really good, and they're single sided, so you can do any of those folding techniques which require a white on the back, so you get the pop of the colour. And they're also great for little origami as well. It folds really nicely. You can get crisp folds on it for sort of origami kind of things, and having the white on the back, you kind of need that in some designs. You get 8 different designs, and there's 3 of each, and they're the 6x6 size. I really like this colour scheme actually, and I think, yeah, both of the cards that I've created, I used these 2 patterns, and I actually added to them, so I stamped on top of them. So they're really nice papers that you can build off of. You've got your like initial background created for you, and you can add to them if you want to make them look more unique to you as well, which is great. So the first one is this gorgeous, it's kind of like a taupe colour of stripe, and it's sort of got some distressing lines going opposite direction to the main stripe pattern as well, which is really nice. So that's the first one. Then this one is a gorgeous colour. I really like this colour and this pattern actually. This would look nice as wallpaper. It's a gorgeous sort of minty damask kind of a pattern, which is really nice. And then another minty one. This has kind of got a sort of more of a ditzy pattern on it, with really tiny little branch designs which actually go with the stamp set as well, which is really nice. And it's sort of got a 2-tone colouring to it too. It's got lighter and darker. It actually shows up more on the camera, that sort of 2-tone colouring. Then we have this one, which has almost got like a brushstrokey background, and then it almost looks like you have actually just stamped outline images on this one. And they're really gorgeous designs. Do they actually match? Very similar. Yeah, that they've just added shading to some of the stamped designs, because that's that same leaf but flipped the other way with a bit of shading on it. So this would really go with the 2 stamp sets as well. And that's the same flower, but they've added a lot of shading to it on it. So that's actually a good indicator. It'll show you more where to shade, which is really nice. So you've got one that coordinates with each of the 2 different stamp sets. So that's that piece of paper. Then we have this one, which is a gorgeous dotty design with a kind of distressed pink background and then a lighter pink polka dot all over it, and it's a uniform polka dot, and they're actually proper circles. Then we've got this one with sort of horizontal strips, no, vertical strips of hearts coming down, and they're offset, so it fills in the paper really nicely as well. And it looks like there's sort of distressing in the background of that. There's sort of different tones of pinks going across the page. Then we have this one, which, yeah, that's the same designs as this larger one, but the pattern's shrunk down and it's more of a burgundy colour rather than a grey. It's got a burgundy sort of stamped effect to it, and again it's on that kind of brushstroked looking background, which is really nice. And then the last one is a really subtle design. Again, it's that taupey colour of the stripe, and is it the same design as the teal? No, I don't think that's quite the same design as the teal one, or the minty coloured one, but it's really subtle, but it's that kind of a damask-y pattern, and it's got a bit of distressing on it as well, but that's really pretty. So that is the paper pad, which is called Blushing Blooms. Then I will show you all of the stamp sets. Let's just do the smaller ones first. I've only got 5 cards to show you with these stamps, but there are hundreds of different things that you can do with them. I was just having a whale of a time playing with them one evening. And yeah, so this one is the words. So you've got, like I just said earlier, it's more like Mother's Day kind of themed, although it's got words so you could do a Mother's Day but for an auntie or for your grandma or your nan. There's lots of different variations of words that you can use. So you've got mother, mum, mom for Americans, mummy, mam, ma, and I actually put mum and ma together to do mama, because I often call my mum mama. And then you've got great, so you can do like great grandma and stuff. You've got step and grand, so you can do grandmother if you call your grandmother grandmother. I call mine nanny, so I did actually, or did I do that in the end? I don't think I did it in the end. I was going to try and because you get an IE, so you can do auntie. I was going to try and do nanny and double the N up, but I didn't do it in the end. But you could easily do that as well. Or nana, because you've got an A, you can do nana. Where was I? From to grandma, sister, aunt, and then you've got IE, so you can do auntie. Baby, cousin, fiance, daughter, in-law, life partner, friend, niece, best, amazing, happy birthday to you, congratulations, us, wedding, love ever, favourite, girlfriend, anniversary, your, super, hello, this, nan, special day, and my, wonderful, thank you, all of us, family, occasion, fabulous, girl. So you've got loads of different, more like feminine words in this because it's coming up to Mother's Day. I presume she might bring out more of a masculine one for when it's nearer Father's Day as well, actually. That would be a good idea. But yeah, but you've got, it's not just for Mother's Day. You've got happy birthday in there. You can do happy anniversary. You can do like to a wonderful friend, best friend, just any cards to your mum or your grandma or your nan or your daughter or your auntie or your niece. You don't have goddaughter on here, which is really annoying. They don't have the word God. But anyway, lots of different words that you can use. And these will mix really nicely with the previous 2 sets that have come out as well. You do get repetition between the sets of simple things like happy birthday and possibly congratulations and anniversary and stuff, but I think that's really good that she's done that you don't have to have the first one to get the normal kind of sentiments, that she keeps repeating them across the sets. I think that's really nice, so that you don't have to have all of them. You can just pick one and you've already got happy birthday in it. So I really like that she's done that. And then this one is the other one that's kind of Mother's Day themed, and you've got a big scripty mother, and then you also have apostrophe S. So depending on whether you're going to combine it with some of these words or just do a Happy Mother's Day card, you can add the apostrophe S. On the card I did Happy Mother's and then Day. And you've also got Mum as well. Then, and you could make that Mum's if you wanted to, like Mum's Garden or Mum's Craft Room, you know, things like that. And then it's also got loads of gorgeous little tiny images in here as well, which are really great for building up backgrounds. And I used a few of them to sort of accent my backgrounds as well, like this gorgeous little butterfly. These flowers are really pretty too, and I love the little swirl. I'm a sucker for a little tiny swirl like that, so I was using that in the background as well. But you've got loads of different designs. I used this one too. It's a really nice delicate design. So those are all in that set. Then there's the two main layering stamp sets. I'm going to refer to this one as the Butterfly Bee set because it has a butterfly and a bee in it, because I don't know the real name of it. But it's a really gorgeous, gorgeously designed set. I really love this flower. It's maybe a peony or something like that, or I mean you could use it as a kind of ruffly rose as well, but it looks gorgeous just colouring it with alcohol pens, watercolours, that kind of thing. But you've also got the solid, so you can add your lightest colour and then go to your medium colour and your darkest colour to get the layered effect, which I haven't actually done, but it looks really gorgeous when it is all together. And if you don't like the layering and you just want to colour, you've also got this solid, so if you wanted to do that kind of glazing effect where you add clear embossing powder just over your design, you can use that to mask it off. And again, if you've done like you stamp over it and then heat emboss it with clear, and you've also got that to do with the leaves as well. And for doing those kind of effects, it also means that you can then like ink your background without affecting something you've already stamped over the top of it. And then if you don't want the glossy finish, you can always iron off the embossing powder afterwards. So there's loads of different kind of techniques that you can do with that will make it much easier to do that technique if you have the solid stamp to go with it as well. So I think that's a really cool idea that you can use these with. Then so you have the three layers that go on the detail for the flower, and you also have the two layers that go on the detail for the cluster of leaves as well. And this is a gorgeous 5 cluster of leaves, which looks really nice. A couple of them behind the flower off at different angles, looks really good. Then you also have a butterfly, and you have the layer behind the butterfly, and it's almost got like a splat, like a paint splat effect in it. I didn't actually use the two together, I was just using the butterfly, but even just this one by itself would look really pretty. And then you also have like, is it called a Rorschach splotch? I don't actually know what it's called, but it sounds like that when people say it. That kind of a style of design, you know, where you've put your paint on one side, folded it in half and then opened it and you have a whole butterfly. So I think it looks like that kind of thing to me. And then you've also got another big splash there as well, which goes along with the sort of splatty kind of theme of the butterflies. Then you also have a gorgeously detailed Bumblebee, which I actually gold heat embossed on the card that I've done, but I think just black and white he looks really gorgeous as well. And you could just add a little touch of light blue to the wings and some gorgeous like deep yellow ochre kind of colours to the body as well. And then for sentiments in this, you've got a lovely little thanks in this gorgeous modern font. And then you've also got with love. I love this with love. It's like gorgeous scripty with the normal sort of type. I really like that. And then you've also got a little cursive hello as well. So that is the first one, which I'm calling Butterfly and Bee, but I will put the proper name up on the screen as I've been yapping about this set. And then the second set, which I'm going to call Just a Little Note because it says Just a Little Note in the set, is this one. And so let's go to the sentiments first. You've got best wishes, have a wonderful day, which is a really fine font. I have used it on one of my cards and you can see how really fine that word wonderful is. And then you've also got just a little note, which would be really lovely on a card as well. Maybe a set of note cards for somebody. You could do that kind of a sentiment, then they can use them for anything that they want. You also have the gorgeous 3 layers to go with the main floral design. Again, that could be some kind of rose or peony sort of a flower. I'm then the names of the stamp sets might actually tell you what kind of flower they are. I'm not very good at gardening, so I don't really know what flowers are called. But anyway, so you've got the different layers. Again, you can do that cool technique with the solid over the top of this, or even just use it as a random design, like maybe in your art journaling and stuff, you might just want a random shape in the background. That's a cool random shape, and the other one as well, so you can use them for those kind of things too. And with the solid ones, you can also do that kiss stamping, where you take a like a patterned stamp, and you'd ink up the solid stamp, press the patterned stamp onto it, and remove the ink where you've pressed onto that, and then you stamp this one and you have the pattern in it. That would give a really cool funky kind of look to these, and then you could stamp the outline slightly off over the top of it. That would look really good. Oh, I've got too many ideas now. Anyway, the other layering stamps you get in this set too are another little leafy one, and you do also get, yeah, I think that goes with it. You also get the little like darker area that you can stamp in the centre. So again, you get the 2 layers for the leaf design, and this one's just a double leaf, but it would go really nicely with the 5 leaf in this one. So you can mix and match the 2 stamp sets if you want to as well, if you got them both. And then you have this one, which is just a separate sort of frond by itself, a sort of silhouette frond, and then the rest layer up, I think. Oh no, you have this separate frond as well, that's a separate one, and then the rest layer up. So this is the outline with the 2 little flowers on the top of the stalk. You have the interior piece, so you can stamp that and get the stalk and the little buds coloured in, and then you get the 2 flowers as well. But those flowers are really nice to use separately by themselves too. And then you get this one, which has kind of got buds and spiky bits on it. And you've got the interior piece to do like the greenery, and then you've got this piece, so these 3 pieces will fit on here and this piece will fit on here, so you can stamp the colour on it as well. So some really cool layered up designs that you can use in your card making. I didn't really do much of the layering. I think I just got carried away with the actual images, and I didn't really focus on the layering aspect of them. But it does look really gorgeous when you layer them all up together. So I've got a few samples. I did 3 with one set and 2 with the other. So these are the 3 that I did with the Butterfly Bee stamp set. This one I was working with the patterned paper, and this is where I took that taupey coloured stripy paper, and you'd think that that was a patterned paper by itself now, but I actually just took the solid and the outline of the 5 leaf design, and I stamped the solid all over it first, and I used pumice stone for that, and then I came back in and I used acorn brown from the Nouveau hybrid ink pads to overstamp the outline onto it, and then I also used that same ink to stamp the little swirls from that other add-on stamp set, and I used the thanks sentiment in there as well in the background. And then for my main sentiment, I used the thanks and then the aunt and the IE from the other word set as well. And then I just used my Copics to colour these images in. I was just in a colouring mood, so I added 2 of the foliages and then 1 of the floral design in there as well. And because I'd coloured the flower red, I thought it just needs some little red gems. Those are the Nouveau Pure Sheen gemstones in the cherry hearts ones. So that was the first one. Then I did this one because this kind of looks quite realistic to me, but I wanted to show how you can actually make it funky and you know, maybe a bit more modern kind of looking compared to the more realistic style. So I decided to do my favourite layout of a card. I used to do this all the time, having 3 butterflies on top of each other. But yeah, I just really like this style. And I ink blended a rainbow down the background, festive berries, mustard seed, and then I overlapped them to get the orange shade, twisted citron, peacock feathers, and wilted violet along the bottom. And then I did actually use the actual distress inks to add the little flower, and the little flower was from the Mothers set, the one that's got the big mothers and mum words. And then I stamped the butterfly 3 times down the centre and stamped it again onto some more white card and used the same distress inks to add colour in the same place it fell on the original butterflies on the card, and then I've just layered them up on top and stapled the centre of them using the little tiny attacher. So I just added a staple to hold them on. That used to be my absolute favourite way of adding butterflies to a card, stapling it. And then I used the With Love sentiment, and I just used a black pen to draw a kind of wonky banner around it. And also in the background I used that the sort of ink splotch stamp, and I stamped it with water. So I'd done my inky background, then I stamped it with water in a few places to kind of give a different effect. It doesn't look exactly like the actual stamp, but it just gives that kind of a look as if you spilt water on it, but you sort of placed it more intentionally than if you actually spilt water on it. Yeah, so that is that card. And then the third one I did with this set, I took the Bumblebees and I heat embossed 7 of them onto a piece of card, and I also heat embossed the word mother with the apostrophe S, and then I did happy and day on some white cards so I could add them on afterwards. And then I just used some Nouveau Aquaflows and Nouveau glitter marker to do the washy watercolour background. I think I used, was it Mango Mimosa? It's still here. Yeah, Mango Mimosa, and then the brown colour was Rustic Oak and a little bit of Caramel Pecan as well. And then I used a bit of the Iced Americano glitter marker in the background too, just to give a really sort of messy watercolour-y kind of look to it. And then I used the Aqua Shimmer pen on the wings to give them a little bit more sparkle too. And I just finished off with some gold sequins and gold gemstones in the centres. Then the other set is this one, and I just did 2 cards with this one. And again, I was using the patterned paper, and I added on some overstamping in Cracked Pistachio Distress Oxide using the Best Wishes. And I also stamped the butterflies in Distress Oxide too. And then I was hoping that the ink would have stayed wet enough to add some mica powder onto it, but it hadn't. So I came back in, overstamped the butterflies with just clear sticky ink, and then added the mica powder onto the butterflies that way. And then you might also notice some darker stamping with one of the gorgeous little stamps from the Big Mothers stamp set. And I actually added the mica powder over that. I stamped them in black and added one of the interference sort of mica powders. There'll be another video, another one of these up close ones coming about the mica powders, and they are the ARTEZA mica powders that have come out recently. So there will be a full video on these. I was just experimenting on this card. Sorry for my squeaky chair. I was just experimenting, having a bit of fun, seeing how they worked and stuff. So that's how I did the background, and then again I just used my alcohol pens to colour the focal image and the foliage. I did 3 of the foliage on this one, and then I just did To You Grandma as the sentiment. And I also added in, I thought it looked a little bit empty down the bottom, so I took this Glorious Border die from Polkadoodles and just cut it from vellum and added it on the bottom, and I think that just fills in that part of the design as well. And then I just added some iridescent sequins on there too. And then the other one that I did, again, I just used the 2 layers for the foliage on this one, and I used Shabby Shutters and Twisted Citron, and again I was using a mix of Distress Ink and Distress Oxide for this, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was using that. And I added a few of the little tiny leaves that again in that Big Mother's stamp set, and I also used the little flower that's supposed to layer up onto this design, but you could just use the little flower in there as well. And I stamped that with Spun Sugar Distress Oxide, and then used a little pearlescent Nouveau drop in the centres of them. And I also watered down a Nouveau glitter marker and splashed that in the background too. I'm not sure of the name of that one because my one doesn't have its name on it. And then I used green sequins for this one, and oh, that's where you can see the really dainty Have a Wonderful Day sentiment. It's really a dainty kind of a font. And because I'd used Have a Wonderful Day in the background, I decided to do To My Wonderful Mama as the actual sentiment on that card as well. And then I just added a scribbly border around it and trimmed it out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed all of these, or this up close look at these new Polkadoodles stamp sets, and enjoyed getting to see a few different samples that I've created with them, even though I didn't actually use the layering aspect of the stamps. But I mean, if you didn't get smooth colouring and you wanted to just add some more depth in it, you could just bring in the like the very fine last detail and stamp that over the top of something that you've already started colouring as well. So you can sort of mix and match colouring with stamping if you want to too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this up close video, and I will see you again in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!